Hi everyone, we are the Two Fat Brokers. Welcome to our podcast. I am Barney from Dubai.
Ben from Abu Dhabi.
Today we are going to discuss the short-term effects that the coronavirus is having on each of our real estate markets. Now,
not necessarily it's short term, but these are what we've observed so far.
Now, I think we can all agree that it is casting quite a high level of uncertainty over the global economy, and I think that translates pretty well into the real estate market, certainly in Dubai. There are some fantastic opportunities out there if you're a buyer. We just have a degree of hesitancy among buyers to be able to to want to put their money into the market just now. We also have, conversely, sellers who are doing exactly the same thing. You know, we are waiting to see how this all pans out. So I think, surface value, there's a lot of uncertainty. And I think obviously that translates to developers as well. There are rumours in the market that some developments are going to be shelved, not cancelled, just shelved to help with the supply and demand issues. But again, I must stress they are just rumours.
We've already done a podcast on how the government is reacting to this initially. So we're in May 2020, early May 2020. So we've seen the government react. But now we're just going to talk about how we're seeing the market react now.
We have to say, to be honest, between the two of us, I think we're quite impressed with the way the government have acted and how swiftly they've done it. You know, it's been quite impressive to see so far. So that's my opinion on the Dubai, the sort of tertiary level of Dubai market. How are you finding it here in Abu Dhabi?
Well, I think the rental market's unaffected at the minute. A lot of people are wandering around expecting 20% decreases, but we still don't have commercial flights going out of the UAE at the moment. So everyone is sort of sheltering in place still. So we don't really have people moving out of property. So we're not really seeing any increased vacancy rates, and landlords are seeing their tenants renew. So landlords are pretty happy. At the moment, they're not, discounting the rentals a lot at the moment.
We're seeing quite a bit of discounts in rentals in Dubai.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
I think landlords want to future-proof themselves, make sure they've got a happy tenant, for at least the next 12, ideally 24 months, to future-proof themselves against any potential drop.
Yeah, so you might actually get a premium for government tenants and things like that at the moment. I say premium as in the government tenant might be able to negotiate more off, because no one is sure about the job losses that are going to manifest themselves once people can start to go home. If there's going to be an exodus, or if what the government has done, particularly in terms of extending visas out to the end of the year, if that will allow people to stay here.
Guys, we are going to do a podcast about where we see the market going, so we'll be able to discuss more about what we think is going to happen to the UAE on the whole. But right now we're just focusing on the immediate aftermath of what's going on. So are you finding that your sellers and your buyers are feeling the same way as we're finding it across the border?
We're actually the buyers are pretty active. We're seeing more buyers come to the table. They are, I guess, more interested in the stimulus packages that the government has introduced. It's put buying a little bit more into people's minds, I think. But again, we're not seeing a lot of people pulling the trigger, because viewings are difficult. Tenanted properties, a tenant doesn't want people traipsing through.
I think a lot of it's a data gathering as well. I think you'll probably find everyone's expecting a dip in the market. To what level, we don't know. And if you're a savvy buyer with time on your hand, a lot of people are, they're seeing what they can get for their money now, and we'll come back to this in 2 or 3 months' time and see what's happened in their target market. So we've seen a lot of increase, especially as the quarantines were loosened and people were allowed to travel a bit more freely. We certainly saw an uptake in viewings, obviously with the relevant PPE in place. But yeah, we certainly saw a surge. But translating those surges into business has been slower than normal.
Yeah. And on the seller side, I think we've seen the same as you. The sellers haven't panicked and dropped, 10, 15% off their prices. They're staying pretty much where they are. We'll probably see some sellers lose jobs or lose faith in the UAE and want to, cut their ties here and leave. So we might see some of that in the future. But at the moment, I would say the market is pretty stable, and there's a lot of dogs sniffing each other's bums to use a rather vulgar phrase. There's people sort of like circling each other.
We know how they sniff bums, like we've seen them before.
Yeah. Although actually, so we've, I guess in summary, it's put buying into a lot more people's minds that had been thinking about it, I think. But sellers still, not moving a lot.
I will enjoy having a conversation with you in the next podcast about how effective you think it is when sellers try and hold up a market. But we'll save that for next time. So thank you everyone for joining us. That's enough from me.
Thank you. That's enough from me. Please enjoy our next podcast after this, which is going to be, where's the market going to go?
We have been the Two Fat Brokers.
Take care.
Be well.